Xin chào everybody. Welcome back to Boi Boi's Life, where we talk about life, identity, and everything in between. I'm your host, Jacqueline, and today we're going to be talking about the White Lotus Season 3 finale. And let me say, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm still emotionally raw from last night because this season really held up a mirror to our faces and asked, what do you really value? And what are you willing to give up to get what you want? This finale wasn't just a drama filled wrap up. It was a full on moral gut punch. And honestly, by the end of the day, I'm just sitting here, heart heavy, brain buzzing, and asking myself, damn, would I have made the same choices? Because every single character that was tested was not just tested, and it wasn't just with external conflicts, but also internal ones as well. And their values versus their hunger for status, wealth, power, love, and revenge. And honestly, some of the answers felt too real, like too close to home. So let's get into it. Let's talk about morality, karma, choices, and what it means to stay true to yourself or to sell out for comfort. And this one is going to be deep, so sit tight. Now, so if you haven't watched the White Lotus season 3, then you can go on and skip this or spoiler alert, right? But let me start with this question. How much is your soul worth? But not in a cheesy horror movie devil's contract kind of way like Supernatural here, but really, if someone came up to you and offered you $5 million, would you change who you are? Would you compromise the values you've held up your whole life? And would you leave someone behind that you love? This finale asked us through Gaituk, Belinda, Piper, Lori, and the whole Ratliff family. And what's wild is almost everybody said yes. But here's the twist from all this. Because some of the characters, taking money did bring in peace, but for others, it destroyed them. So let's start with Belinda. If you watched season 1, you'll remember that she's a spa manager who got close to Tanya, the chaotic rich woman who dangled the promise of investing in Belinda's wellness business, only to completely abandon her. Belinda was the moral compass back then. She was grounded. She was a good person in a resort full of rich, shallow people. But in this finale, we see Belinda again, and this time, she's the one with the money. So Greg, Tanya's shady husband, offers her $5 million in exchange for her to stay quiet about the truth. So this hit me the hardest was the after accepting that money, and the hardest was the conversation she had with Pornchai. And it was basically the same thing that Tanya once said to her in season 1. Like, I care about you, but I'm not investing in you. Not the same line, but you get the meat. You get the basis. So basically, Belinda took the money and decided to leave to start a new business in the States and leaving Pornchai. And it's like the circle completed, and Belinda became the very person who once hurt her. But here's where it gets layered. She's not evil, and she's not greedy per se. She's just tired. She's tired of struggling, and she's tired of people, and she's tired of hoping that people will do the right thing. And when somebody finally gives her a chance to be secure, not to have to work another day in her life and to start her business and to do something that she is finally fulfilled and she enjoys it, hell not, hell why not? Why not take it, right? And she honestly takes it. And you can't even blame her. But it begs the question, what happens when good people compromise? Do we stay good? So, moving on to Gaituk's journey, and it honestly kind of wrecked me. Like, out of the characters that we have seen this season, he was the only one trying so hard to stay good. He had values, he had morals, he didn't want to use violence. He wanted to be respected for who he was and not fear. He's simple minded, he's also very happy with the way things are and just being happy as a security guard. But honestly, like you can tell that Mook was not having it. She wanted someone that had the ambitions to earn a higher living, to have that wealth and status. And it's not like she was asking for much. Like she was happy with the simple life, but she wanted more from Gaituk that, that's a man that's able to provide for his, wife, right? And yet, in the final moment, despite having that moral values and him insisting that I don't believe in violence, we shouldn't do things a violent way or that kind of thing. At the end, in the final moment, he just shot Rick in order to get the girl, to get the job, and to get that desired life. And it was like someone watching and it was like watching someone snap. Like it wasn't dramatic or exaggerated, but it was real. And it was painfully real because we have all gone to the point where if we were pushed enough, we might start to abandon what we stand to survive. And Gaituk crossed that line, but we felt the weight of it. And you know what's even worse? He won and he got what he wanted, but you can see in his eyes that it came at a cost. But he didn't care. At the end, he was the winner because he got the desired dream job, he got the girl, and the wealth and status and money that came to that new power. So let's talk about Piper, the girl who went to Thailand to write about her thesis, to study Buddhism, and to escape her shallow, rich family. She thought she was different, but by the end of the day, she became exactly like her mom, and her mom even knew it. Her mom called up from the very beginning and was just like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go to the monastery, stay there for a night, stay there, see if he actually enjoys it. But deep down, she knew exactly what kind of daughter she was. And honestly, you can't even blame her. The lavish hotel life, the luxury spa, having money, having food. I honestly think Piper was very true to herself where she thought she was different and she had that really naive idea that, oh, I can live without money, people are suffering, I have all this money, I'm guilty. And she does have that guilty mindset where she does realize that there's hurt in the world, there's inequality, there's money issues, status, and wealth, and the rich people are getting it so good that they don't even realize it. But after going through that monastery, she really was true to herself and was like, I cannot do this. I cannot ditch this comfortable life to go sleep on the floor or have this small mattress, bland food, vegetarian, and that was just not it. That was just a realization for her that she cannot live this life. And I think that's the tragedy. She wanted to have value. She wanted to live simply, but she couldn't let go of comfort. The values she thought she had weren't really hers. They were the ideas that she liked, but not the ones that she could live. So now Lori. Honestly, hands on to Lori, and her monologue was honestly one of the most powerful moments during this whole episode. And honestly, kudos to Lori. Like, she is so real and authentic, and she looked at her two best friends, Jacqueline and Kate, and admitted that compared to them, her life looks like a failure. And she also said that she's tired of the comparison and being fake and being happy when she's not, and that her happiness didn't need to match theirs. And it was a real and raw moment that is so bearing that it forces everyone in that group to sit with their own BS and their own fakeness. And Lori was so real about herself that honestly, during this trip, it made her more sad than ever. And it made her realize that she can't really be part of that group. And she's real and she's raw, but she realized that the comparison or making things or faking things to be happy was not her anymore, and she was living that authentic life. And for once during that show, we see that they actually truly bonded over that moment. They didn't say much, but they really resonated with her, that they wish that they could be as authentic as Lori, but they just won't admit that. But it just takes one person to say the things on their mind, which was Lori. And the authentic and their friendship at the end was so nice to see that they're finally real for once. Yes, there was some tension at the beginning of the vacation, but I think they've all made peace with it, and they were all very true and honest with themselves, that you see their friendship be much more authentic, real at the very end. And that's what authenticity does. It shakes the table, but it forces people to look in the mirror. And it's also rare, but it's also so damn freeing. Okay, so the Radcliffe story was wild. Like, honestly, it's very typical where you would see a billionaire dad going bankrupt, secretly planning to poison his family, thinking that they'll never survive without money. And he wanted to spare them from the pain, and also from his face of, oh my god, I got my, like, we're living so comfortable, we have money, it was me that caused my family to go poor, being bankrupt. And instead of being honest with his family, he basically was just so stressed the whole entire time, cryptic about it, like just asking his family, so what would you do if you didn't have money? Or say if we were bankrupt, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna do? But in a way, he wanted to see what his family would say. How would his family feel about it, right? And just like Piper, honestly, with people that have money going bankrupt, it's like they rather choose death. Like Victoria, she was just so honest about it. Like, I don't think I can live like this. Like, I'm already over 50, starting over, having a job. Like, to her, that makes no sense, that she rather dies, right? So Tim keeps asking all his family just to know and judge or sense what the situation is. I feel like he really wanted to come clean and tell his family the truth, but like his status and his ego, I feel like would not, like, he wasn't able to do it just because of his ego and how much he has worked for his empire. And you can see Saxon really looks and admires to his dad, that he wants to become another version of him too. But what's really interesting was that when he almost lost hope and faith, he decided to ask Lachlan, what would you do if you didn't have money? Would you be able to survive? Would you be able to live? Like, what's your take on it? And because Lachlan was the quiet, the overlooked son, the people pleaser, but for once, I feel like Lachlan was actually true to himself, where he replied to his dad, yes, like, I can live without money, like, no hesitation. And I think that moment, it stopped his father, and you can see the relief, like, maybe I didn't mess up everything. And it hit me because for Tim, it wasn't about the money, it was about his legacy and hope, and the idea that even in a world where everybody's chasing status, maybe, just maybe, someone can choose peace instead. So, what's the takeaway? What can we learn from this messy, beautiful, yet tragic finale? Know your worth and values before life tests them. Everyone thinks that they're moral until they're offered the thing that they want most: money, love, and power. Are you ready to say no to any of it? Number two, people aren't always who they seem, even to themselves. Piper thought she was a good person, but Linda thought she'd never become like Tanya. Guy Took thought he never uses violence, but the pressure reveals the truth. Number three, and lastly, you don't have to play the game to win. Like Lori, she chose honesty. Lachlan chose peace. They didn't get the money or glory, but they got the freedom. So here's my challenge to you. After this episode ends, sit with yourself and ask, what are my values? What would I never do even if I was desperate? What kind of person do I want to be remembered as? And if you're already in a situation where you feel like you're compromised who you are, it's not too late. You can always change direction. You can be Lachlan. You can be like Lori. So share this episode with someone who loves deep conversation about TV, philosophy, and life, and let's open up that dialogue. Let's talk about these shows because they are more than just entertainment. Because they are. They teach us values and lesson. And also it teaches us that revenge or hatred or karma will end up catching us in the long run. The White Lotus season 3 didn't just end with a bang, it ended with a reckoning. Every storyline, every character arc brought us back to one core question: who are you when no one is watching? In a world where everybody's chasing clout, status, likes, luxury, maybe being real is the biggest rebellion of all. So thanks for listening to Boi Boi's Life. And if you liked this episode, please give this a share, comment, like, and follow me for more episodes. And DM me your thoughts, comments. I love to hear from you and what you think of this season of The White Lotus. So until next time, so stay grounded, stay curious, and most of all, stay true to who you are. Peace out.